am back from LA and here to bring you another of these Spoonflower focused episodes. So for those of you who didn't register for Spoonflower's recent webinar, or you did and you just don't have the hour to watch the whole webinar, I'm gonna give you a fairly quick overview of all the exciting things that Spoonflower announced for 2023 and the trends and news from 2022. So for those of you who don't know anything about this webinar I'm talking about, Spoonflower recently had a webinar, and on it they had their director of merchandising and also the head of artist platform and services. The first thing they did in this webinar is go over a 2022 recap of sales. And so for this, they reported that fabric was 48% of their sales, wallpaper was 41% of their sales, and home decor was 11%. They wanted to let us know that wallpaper is gaining in popularity, as is home decor, with bedding taking the lead in that category. For wallpaper, they said dark and moody is trending. Also trending are birds, other exotic animals, and mushrooms and florals. For wallpaper, unsurprisingly, they mentioned that large scales are doing better. As for home decor, when they were showing their top selling patterns, I noticed a lot of muted greens and dark blue in those top categories. So muted greens and dark blues might be something you want to consider if you're looking to increase marketability. Okay, so what is coming for 2023? One of the most exciting things is that they announced that there's going to be a whole new category, but it was top secret. They didn't announce what it was going to be. But we definitely have that to look forward to towards the end of 2023. In addition, they said for back to school season, for home decor, they're going to be releasing some new bedding sizes, such as crib sizes, which is great for some of us who do designs that would fit well with nursery decor. And they're also going to have some larger California king sizes added to bedding. In terms of curtains, they are exploring materials for velvet and blackout curtains. And their tech team is also working on a shop the look feature. So they gave us a preview of this where you would see a picture, and instead of just one pattern being shown, there would be, for example, different pillows, sheets, and bedding. And then the customer would be able to click and very easily link to this curated look. Now, of course, I'm not sure if the artists themselves will be able to create curated looks, or if this is something that it will just be the Spoonflower creative team doing, which is all the more reason that if you can catch the Spoonflower curatorial team's interest and eye, then this is likely to bring you a lot more sales because you might get your patterns featured in a curated look, which would be super helpful for sales, of course. And apart from these kind of more exciting announcements, they also announced that they are just looking at more new materials, as they're always doing. In addition, they gave us their top 8 trending styles for 2023. Now, I recently did a episode on 5 trending themes, which you can look up somewhere here, but here is straight from Spoonflower what they think will be trending in 2023. And for this, I am just going to give you guys a screenshot in case it isn't quite obvious what these titles refer to. So the first style is niche antique. The second style is bold retro. Number 3 is traditional. 4, clean and simple. 5, dark and moody. 6, wild glamour with exotic animals being a focal point. 7, eclectic boho. And 8, dopamine rush. Now these categories are pretty broad and loose, so you could probably already fit some of your designs into these. So pro tip, what you might think about doing is going back and adding keywords. On this note of keywords, in this webinar, it was asked whether words in titles are given more weight than words in tags. And they said yes. They said it's something that they might be working on, so this might change in the future. But right now, keywords in a title are given more weight than keywords in a tag. And I know for me, sometimes I like to give just sort of a creative title. So something I need to work on is going back and putting more words in my title that are descriptive, as well as adding some more keywords. Now, they also gave us a preview of some of the works they are doing on the platform for us artists. And one of the things they're going to be doing is making this tagging process a little bit easier. They showed some screens where they would have boxes, for example, of style, and you would go down from a list. So they're going to be helping us out a bit more with keywords in the future. In terms of other updates, they're updating some things with tax issues. They're going to do some technical updates with design challenges that make it more easy to promote and share your designs, which is great. And in terms of that new interface that I was talking about, apart from tagging, they're just going to give us better ways to classify our designs overall, to especially help new artists get discovered more. One of the topics that definitely came up in this webinar was how to help newer artists to the platform get discovered. And it's something that their team seemed really committed to solving. Another thing in the works is to enable linking between designs. They said they were going to start beta testing soon ways that customers would be able to shop for different colorways. So some of us do a design and we have it in 2-3 more colorways, but it's really hard to know if the customers are aware that there are other colorways when they're choosing the one colorway. So in the screenshot they showed, you know, just like when you're shopping sometimes on Amazon, for example, when you're shopping for a colorway, underneath you can see that there are different colorways, and then you can go ahead and click those and see if maybe you would prefer the different colorway. For now, most of these things are just in the development stage. Some of them they're going to be beta testing soon, and some they're going to be A/B split testing. So some people will be using one way and another people will be using another way, and they're going to see which way is more effective. They mentioned that they are pretty soon going to have a call to see what artists want to join some of their beta testing. And in the past, it's been pretty competitive to join, but they said, once you say that you want to join, even if you don't get selected to do some beta testing for one feature, that you'll be on their list to beta test some of the other features. So the really great thing about Spoonflower, I would say unlike some other platforms, is they really seem to value their artists and be engaging with their artists to make artists' life easier, and especially help their newer artists on the platform gain traction so that they want to stay on the platform. I know I've talked about before that I have other sites like Redbubble and Society6, but I've sort of slowly stopped updating on them because, you know, I don't really feel the love back and my time is limited. And so for me, I really enjoy working with Spoonflower as a company. I'm not sponsored by Spoonflower, but artists are going to go where they're valued, and at Spoonflower, I feel like they really want to make it feel like you're on a team, and they do a pretty good job at it. So do the other artists on the platform. It's a really nice community to be a part of. So one of the other things from the webinar is that they did a section on the environment and sustainability, which is just so important. And they talked about some of the ways that Spoonflower is a environmentally friendly and more sustainable company than some others, which is something for those of you who are doing marketing with a capital M, you're going to want to highlight to your customers. Now, of course, print-on-demand companies have the advantage that they're not going to have a bunch of overstock that's going into landfills. But besides that, Spoonflower mentioned that they have a real commitment to be using non-harmful chemicals. And besides that, the printing techniques they use less water than traditional printing. They also have done a real focus on getting as much locally sourced as they can, and they're based out of North Carolina, but getting more things sourced in the United States so that there is less of a carbon footprint for shipping as well for the majority of the customers who are in the United States. Now, on a personal level, I'm always a bit skeptical about companies, but Spoonflower does seem to be making a commitment to try to be responsible on a social and environmental level, which is always a good thing. It's better than not doing anything. Another update they mentioned, which may or may not be relevant to a lot of us is white label / private label possibilities. And they did say that if you had an extremely large order, that you can reach out to the sales team about this and they might be able to work with you on white label and private label things. So things that wouldn't necessarily have Spoonflower on them, maybe they have no label whatsoever, or in addition, the idea of getting some sort of private label. So that is definitely way next level, not what I'm primarily focused on, but I just want to let you guys know in case it is applicable to you. Finally, I just want to mention that they did talk about how they select artists to feature. And they said one of the things they want to look for is a shop that's well set up. So you have your banner, you have a bio, and preferably a photo of yourself. Besides that, they're looking for people and artists with interesting stories. Now, if you want them to know about your interesting story, then of course you want to have that interesting story featured in your bio on Spoonflower, linked to your social media, and probably also on your social media be talking about your story. So for those of you who do have an exciting and interesting background, maybe a unique perspective, I encourage you to add some of that into your Spoonflower shop profile. Make sure everything's linked up. Make sure you have a personal picture. Make sure you have that banner. And you might be Spoonflower's next featured artist, which of course is going to be excellent for your sales. All right, so that's pretty much all for today. I just wanted to give a pretty speedy recap of what I found to be the highlights of Spoonflower's 1 hour 2023 Biz Webinar. I hope this was helpful for you. I know not all of my audience are Spoonflower people, but I find some of this information is useful for all kinds of artists. But if you are a Spoonflower artist and you find this Spoonflower related content helpful, please let me know in the comments so that I'll know whether to keep doing Spoonflower content or not. I'd love it if you hit the like button and consider subscribing. And until next time, keep creating.